You're listening to the Mile You're In podcast. Everything running related, from 100 meters to 100 miles. And now, here's your host, Phil Patterson Jr.
What's going on, everybody? We're back, the Mile You're In podcast, and we're going to jump right into it because I was just on a 4-mile run and I just felt inspired and motivated to hop in here and just record this really quick because it's been on my mind for the last couple of days, even weeks. You know, as I navigate the recent changes in my life, I've been reminded of the saying that one man's trash is another man's treasure. What is useless to one person is valuable to another. It conveys that there is no judging for taste. So although we tend to criticize one's decision for passing on something or someone that we find valuable, it just means they didn't see or find the same value that we did. Something which one person may think is worthless could be cherished by another. It doesn't necessarily mean that that person was wrong. It just means that they had a different opinion than us. Sometimes desires change. We change as we grow and mature. Some go through a midlife crisis. For whatever reason, people will make a decision to move on from something, someone, someplace. Sometimes they'll regret it, sometimes they won't. We've all left a company, a job, even a career for another one. Typically, it's because we didn't feel appreciated enough, if at all. We didn't feel valued. We felt stuck at a dead end, bored, unhappy. But then we discovered a new opportunity where we felt we would actually experience all the things we yearned for, so we moved on. Sometimes it worked out, other times the cycle continued and you continued searching. Whether you felt worthless or just disrespected, you made a decision to move on because in a way, you didn't feel like a treasure to them. We're all familiar with all of the relationship examples, especially with the increasing rates of divorce. We're seeing marriages end after 10 plus years more than before, or at least in my opinion. And honestly, maybe I should have looked that stat up before recording this, so I could be wrong. But from what I witnessed, though, it used to just be the 1 to 3 year marriages. But these days, it seems to be the older ones just as frequently, if not more. It makes you question what happened. Things change, people change, relationships change. While some will adapt, others won't. A friend and I recently disagreed on something and they said it best. We all have different expectations. Some people will make adjustments to meet those expectations and others won't. It depends on how valuable that person and relationship is to them. When you love someone or something, love will make you do what you need to do because it will feel right. It will come natural. During my social media days, I reached out to a lot of brands that I used often while running for possible partnerships or a spot on their ambassador team. Some gave me a chance, others turned me down right from the start. Some gave me a chance but didn't find value in me, and after a while let me go. But then I stumbled across BibRave and truly felt overwhelmed at times because I felt like I was part of a family. If there was one thing I miss about being on social media, it's connecting with the others on that team daily. Because it was a reminder that all of the brands that said I wasn't good enough just didn't see the potential that BibRave did. Sure, I had hard feelings at times, felt bitter for a while, but I had to move on. And once I did, I found what I deserved, and it made the previous rejections a distant memory. Those other brands just considered other runners and athletes as more valuable. They were treasures to them, and I just wasn't. If we hold on to bitterness, we never allow ourselves to be free and at peace. We may feel that we are, but in all honesty, we're truly still allowing them to hold a little bit of control over us, our thoughts, even our emotions. Like the job that fired us or laid us off, the girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whoever that left us, the friends that stopped talking to us or hanging out with us. If we dwell on that enough, we miss out on those we come across that want to stick around and be in our lives, that want to have us in theirs. Sometimes we're so upset over the ones that don't want to be in our lives that we're blind to the ones that do. Sometimes we're so focused on trying to make someone like us that we don't realize there are better people right there who do. I remember a job I had that laid off my entire team. A month later, I was still struggling to even get an interview with other companies, but they called me and asked me if I was interested in coming back. I accepted because honestly I was desperate and needed the money, but I no longer trusted them. I knew I could be dumped again at any moment. I was surprised though when I got there to find out I was the only one they brought back from my whole team. But I continued searching for jobs while I was there and eventually left because I could see the writing on the wall. The clock was ticking. They didn't plan to keep my position around much longer. What I did was valuable, but they no longer found me valuable. They found that they could get a bunch of interns to work for free and do what I did for a fee. So I was no longer a treasure to them. I remember the day I was offered to represent Runners Depot by wearing their racing team singlet, to be a part of the racing team. At the time, I was pretty fast, not elite or sub-elite, nowhere near that status, but I was typically placing in the top 3 of my age group and making the podiums at races, but I still didn't feel fast enough to be on a race team. I think I did apply to 1 or 2 previously, but never got accepted. My times were too slow in their opinion, and I didn't necessarily disagree, but Runners Depot felt I still could bring value to them and to the team. So whenever I put on that singlet, I wore it with pride. I felt a little more respected. I felt valued and acknowledged. Whether it was perfect timing or just a boost of motivation from having it on, I had a lot of my fastest races wearing that singlet. Some people thrive feeling like an underdog. Some people thrive when they feel believed in. We all find motivation from different sources. What we should never do, or at least not let ourselves dwell on too long, is let one's rejection keep us from getting up and trying again. We shouldn't let that cause us to live in fear. We deserve happiness and should continue seeking it. Although we should remain humble, we should have confidence in ourselves. Too many confuse confidence with cockiness. We can fall into the trap of letting others take advantage of us or take our kindness for weakness. We can fall for the lies of not being good enough. If we do that, we'll never take the step forward and always remain complacent. Life is full of unknowns and the unexpected. A saying that a coworker says a lot is, "You don't know what you don't know." And that's a reminder that with many things in life, you won't know until you try. We can't let fear and doubt hold us back from our potential. Understand that you deserve the best and you shouldn't settle for less. But we must also be fair in our search for happiness. A song I always think about is by Musiq Soulchild. The chorus says, "I'm not to blame for the pain caused by previous cats." Whether it's a previous boss, relationship, partner, whoever, the next person deserves a fair chance to not be held accountable for the actions of others from the past. For you to not assume they're going to treat you the same way, that the results will be the same, the outcome will be the same. They deserve a fair chance to prove they're different and mean what they say. The same opportunity you'd hope to get should be what you give. Be the change you hope to see. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. New companies will promise you the world. They'll pitch you the dream situation. That new person you're talking to will sell you the dream of the perfect relationship. Colleges that are recruiting athletes do the same thing. They're trying to convince you that they're better than what you've previously experienced. It happens everywhere. It's like the Sunshine Anderson song, "We've heard it all before." Life is about taking chances. It's hard to know who's being honest and who isn't at first. I get that. But if we go into a new situation expecting the worst, we've already allowed the past to win. We've already put obstacles in the way that don't need to be there. Yes, this leaves the opportunity for many letdowns and disappointment along the way, but by putting a wall up all the time, you may just push away someone or something that could be a blessing to you or your life. I remember trying forever to break 20 minutes in the 5K. Race after race, I failed. Some days it was extremely windy, some days humid, some days I didn't have the energy. One time the course director sent us the wrong way and the course ended up being long. But I kept trying. Obviously, this isn't in total alignment with the one man's trash topic, but it's relatable in ways. Just because something didn't work out doesn't mean it won't the next time. A friend just this morning asked me, what if you put all this time and effort into something and it doesn't work? Would you regret it? The answer should always be no. If you're really serious and passionate about it, it should always be no. Too many times we witness a lack of effort or wasted potential, taking gifts and abilities for granted. If you're working daily on perfecting yourself or your craft, you should never regret the failures along the way. But you have to believe in yourself and your growth. Life is a constant lesson. We should learn from every interaction how to be better at handling every situation. How can we get better? What is good for one person may be bad for another. What is pleasant to one person may be unpleasant to another. What one person likes, another may hate. What entertains one may bore another. I saw a quote by someone, and I know I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Yunosuke Shigeta, I'm just guessing, said it's called garbage can, not garbage cannot. Just because someone doubted you or didn't think you were good enough doesn't mean you're not capable or not good enough. It's just their opinion, and you have the ability to prove them wrong. Their opinion is simply that, an opinion. It's not a fact. Even if some of the reasons you lost value in their mind are factual, it doesn't mean you're useless. Maybe they weren't patient enough or understanding enough. So the next time you lose a job, get dumped, get ghosted, get left out of a gathering, turned down for a job or school, anything along those lines, just remind yourself that there's someone else out there that will feel differently. But you have to also believe it yourself. Rejections happen all the time in life. Like my last episode touched on, if it's meant to be, it will be. But in order to increase your chances at successful situations in life, you must first believe in yourself, then those in your life that are trying to support you and love you. Until the next episode, take a moment to look at how far you've come in life. How many times did you think a rejection was the end for you? Where losing a job or relationship made you think that there was no way you could go on. It's after those rock bottom type moments emotionally where we get back up, dust ourselves off, try again, and typically find the happiness we've been searching for. We just may have been looking in the wrong places, or we're traveling on the wrong path. Like Aaliyah said, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off, try again. You don't want to throw it all away. Someone out there will consider you a treasure despite someone else considering you trash.
Thanks for listening to the Mile You're In podcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, share, and subscribe.